Welcome punters to Tipster. Here we are for another month. Obviously, we're going to talk about those who won big in May. But before we do, Mick Gannon, how are you, mate?
Good day, mate. How are you?
Oh, hey, I'm pretty good. I was going to say the spring, but the Winter Carnival in Brisbane is heating up. Do you like that?
In absolute full flight,
It's
heating
in
up
full
in
flight.
Brisbane. What a place. Where would you rather be?
Absolutely. We were there last year too, weren't we?
We certainly were.
Yeah, for a very famous
What an
Bucks weekend.
experience.
Yeah, it was huge. But hey, biggest performer you can think of in the Queensland Carnival? Any names come to mind?
I think we'll see one this weekend, mate. I think that's the key. Seeing what happens in the Stradbroke. Very, very good race. JJ Atkins, not too bad as well. Can't wait to tuck into both of those.
Yeah, look, I'm going to get your thoughts on it very quickly. But hey, the guys brought to my attention Winthrough. I think I'm saying that right. But only horse that's won all the three big ones. Hey, Stratty.
10,000.
Yeah, 10,000 Oaks. Won it over, in the 1 year. But yeah, so it's apparently the legend. I never heard the horse, to be honest. Did you?
No.
No. Okay.
Betting going off the picture. I would have been born 80 years ago to recognise that horse's name.
Yeah,
but,
I've probably got the big three wrong from the smiles coming on behind the camera.
Doomben 10,000, the Doomben Cup, and
Doomben Cup,
Stradbroke, I
10,000
suggest,
and
win
the
through one of the
Stradbroke.
greatest,
They'd be the big three.
greatest Australian but Queensland racehorses. In
Yeah,
fact.
there we go. And you knew that.
I did know that.
There we go. So what are you thinking about the strategy, mate? It's obviously
Really, really competitive race. I think
interesting barriers
draws,
that came out.
Yeah, barrier draws have come out. We've got a bit of the market over there behind
Yep.
us. But I think the one that's probably drawn really well to take advantage of the speed map at the moment is Gentleman Roy. You're getting around the $26 mark. They rode it conservative last start from the wider gate, and I don't think they'll be doing the same this time round. So if you're looking for one that probably over the odds at the moment, Gentleman Roy is probably the one, around the $26 mark. And in the JJ Atkins, form lines from everywhere. I think the one form line that might fly under the radar is Miracle of Love. Comes out of, I think it was just a midweeker at Doomben the other day. And look, the margin wasn't fantastic, but I think its work was pretty good, was held up late. Reason why I'm keen on this horse, not to bet early, but I want to bet late. It's currently $9. I don't think that's the right price. I think that they'll sort of pen that form and you might get around that $15 mark. I think you get around that mark, it's a great each way bet.
All right, there we go. Early mail from Mick. We'll have more early mail coming up because, of course, those tipsters that went really, really well in May are going to give you some early mail for the weekend. But, of course, what's left to do is to get into that, find out who the big winners were in May. Remember, this is the only leaderboard. I mean, we've got all the media experts recorded on our site. Lots of punters, pros come there too. It's your only place you want to go for tips, Mick.
Since 2009.
That's it.
Welcome back to Tipster. Here we are, Tipster of the Month overall. This is not just the media, this is the pros and the punters on thegreattipoff.com. And in first, so Damo, I'm going to throw to you here because I've got about 6/8 of no chance of pronouncing that.
I think it's up to interpretation. Colette?
Clean bowl.
Colette? But I mean, he's been here for a few times before. This is not his first time in. 2 tipster of the weeks in the month, and he's going strong again. Love a roughie. You've got to be all the way. Look at this, $16.60. His tips 1 in 5. It just sort of shows you. Like, have a look at the trend here, and we'll see the trend in the next list for the media experts. It sort of gives you a guide. If you can tip 1 in 5 and you're in double figures, you're winning big.
You're a star. And I tell you what, looks like he fishes a bit better than Brad Davidson there. Look at the size of that fish. Davo, you've got to get your act together there, son. That's an enormous catch there, Fiddler Cat, if that's your name.
Yeah.
In second there, Star Picks with 156% profit on turnover. That's enormous, $12.81 average price.
Another one, 1 in 5, double digits, get the big bucks. This is a lady punter, female punter.
Love that.
Interestingly, focus on country racing, and the view there is that there's more false favourites because class, basically, if I interpret the discussion we had, there's probably not a lot of class in the country. I didn't say that.
Star Picks, you're spot on. Well, that is what it is, isn't it?
And so a lot of false favourites, and then obviously opportunities around that clearly works. So look out for Star Picks if you want someone who knows what they're doing. She certainly sounds like she knows what she's doing.
So tipster with plenty of potential there. And in third, Phoenix 2022 or 2022.
Yeah. Hey, another interesting one, System. Has basically the way he described it is that He pours the form guide into it. I'm sure it's in a structured format.
It's like just into the shredder.
Yeah. And out comes the other side, a whole bunch of suggested winners.
Oh, good.
Works again. I mean, you can see the number of tips he's putting in, 272. So that probably explains that, why there's so many. $12.17. Apparently it's very good at picking out the sort of value opportunities.
Absolutely. Has not missed in the month of June there. Yeah. And we've got Bragwell Racing in fourth.
Yeah, WA punter. Look, basically, best way to describe the value this guy has added, he's got the pro symbol, so he's not just a flash in the pan. But over the past 30 days, you give him $100, he's returning 4,160 large ones back to you.
Incredible.
How do you go?
Incredible.
Right?
Absolute
That's better
scenes.
than bank interest.
Bragwell Racing, plenty to brag about there. And in fifth position there, Miller Emma.
Yeah, look, another one, I suppose the best way, another pro, so has been doing this over a period of time, I should say. 90 days, $100, turns it into 4,640. Basically focuses on Saturday racing, so more of your weekend punter. Obviously busy during the week, but certainly when he knuckles down to the form, he's getting it right more times than not.
Well, there you go, punters. If you want to find some big price winners, follow those top three. You've got some New South Wales country form, you've got some WA form there, and you've got some really smart pro and punters to follow.
Yep.
And here we are with tipster of the month for the media to see who's been dominating in the circles. And pretty tough month for the media in June, Damo. I think 42% profit on turnover is probably one of the lower percentages we've seen. But Rick McIntosh on top, and it's no surprise it's come just in time for the Warrnambool Bull Carnival.
Yeah, Mr. Bull. I think they're going to change his name to Mr. Bull. He loves it. He rises for it. He's all over it.
Tell you what, there's no bull anyway. He's on fire, feeding 87 tips.
Yeah, no, he goes well, Rick, and thoroughly deserves that. 34% strike rate, 1 in 3. More, better than 1 in 3. So
by bees.
Well done, Rick. He goes well.
Up you go, Rick, and then maybe his brother Nick. No, it's not his brother Nick. Nick Noonan in their RSN, 40% profit on turnover. Wow.
Yeah, well, we had his brother Trev on recently, who I call him the encyclopedia of racing, Trev. I mean, Nick runs in the family. Wouldn't you love to be at the Barbie at the Noonans?
Yes.
Hey, I'll tell you what, there wouldn't be much else to get a show than racing, I would imagine, around. Maybe the Noonan boys can tell us what goes on at the Barbie, but I imagine racing gets discussed a fair bit.
Yeah, Trav's very good, and he's also.
Did I say Trev? I said Trav.
Yeah, Trav. I'm sure he won't mind. I'll tell you what, those articles he produces on .com are phenomenal.
Oh no, he goes well, and look, the thing I like looking at Trav's is his Twitter feed. You know, when the big races are coming up, he's all over it, and he gives you insights that I don't think anyone else can produce, really.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, and Nick's, we're talking about Trav, Nick's gone so well. Nick's focuses on Victoria and Tasmania.
Yep.
I love people who focus on Tasmania. Small set of horses. They normally, if they've got a clue like Nick has, they get it right and they're good to follow. So there's one to look out for you for having a punt in Tasmania.
Yeah, up you go, Nick. So we've got Nick into Steve Christie doing his best work out wide in Tasmania as well.
Yeah, so Steve, he is with Sky Racing, and does a good job. Not a lot known about Steve, not a lot going on there. I'm not sure he's on social media, but look, certainly gets the chocolates there. $6.39 average price, got to be happy with that.
That's something for the Sunday morning Hobart punters, old Steve there, I reckon, just getting a bit sick at about 10:30, 11 a.m. In fourth position there, we've got Paul Joyce, who's doing his best work up in Queensland these days.
Yeah, we know about Joyce, he goes well, great team there with Kian. I'll tell you, they sort of, there must be some sort of punting school going on there, because it was Kian last month, now it's Joycey, and I think they just have turns over there.
Tell you what, it pays to tune in and watch those guys. They just dominate. And then fifth position there, we've got Linton Chataway, who is an absolute jet. Does his stuff on Betfair, does plenty of stuff on Twitter as well, shares his efforts there. 4 from 4 at Wyong the other day.
Yeah.
But he's a man in the know. He does his form well, and I know he secures some early prices. We get a couple of trumpets on Twitter, and so we should, because you deserve it. You're a star, Linton. Absolutely.
Yeah, good on you. Good guy too. Very active on the old social. Punters, I think it is.
Yeah, punter. Love it.
Something. Yeah,
that's what it's all about. It's a great game of racing, and he's one of the great people at racing, getting the job done well out wide. So it's good to see.
Yeah, absolutely. So there is, Mick, top 5, but daylight between them and the pros and the punters at the top of the leaderboard.
Just another month that I'm not on the leaderboard.
Or am I? Okay, Mick, we've come to that part of the program where we get those who have really done well in May to come back and give us early mail. So you can't get this anywhere else this early for Saturday.
How good.
Yeah, how good is this lineup? You want to hear them?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, let's start with this one. And the first one is, of course, none other than Mr. Queenslander himself, Michael Charge. Chargy, what do you got for us, mate?
My name's Michael Charge. I'm the Sky Trackside Host Form Analyst for North Queensland, covering basically Rockhampton to Cairns. It's a terrific job. Couldn't have any better job in the world than mine. I get to travel around, get to enjoy the races, and hopefully find plenty of winners up in my piece of paradise, which is up in North Queensland. So the best way to do your form, by my books, is basically follow your gut. You get to learn your horses, know what their form's like, and look, it's important to see their recent runs, but there can be something hidden away from a little while back that you might have noticed. Jockeys, gates, trainers, it's all important, but I guess your instinct is the best piece of advice I could give you. Do your replays. Stewards' reports are always handy to follow in case something ran into a bit of bad luck, but most importantly, just follow your gut, and odds on, generally look on, find the value. That's always the one motto that I like to live by, finding a better value. But for this weekend, hopefully we can find some value at Eagle Farm in the Stradbroke. It is a race 8 at Eagle Farm. I am with horse number 12, Aft Cabin, the 3-year-old Karen McAvoy to ride. It's only got the 53 kilos. I thought he's running the Noonan 10,000 was great. He just looks a real Eagle Farm horse for mine. Going to the trip of the Stradbroke at the big track at Eagle Farm. K-Mac on board. He rode plenty of winners the other day, so I think he's the way to go. Shopping really good value Aft Cabin. I think he's a horse right on the way up. He is my tip for the Stradbroke this weekend.
And hey, another big name from the Sky Racing camp. Can call, but can tip. Darren Flindell.
Hi there, Darren Flindell, Sydney's race caller for Sky Racing and TAB. I believe the tips have been going quite well in the month of May, so I've been asked to pass on a best bet coming up this Saturday. All tips are available on the TAB app and also the Sky Racing website. But in regards for a best bet coming on Saturday, I quite like one in the Bob Charlie Stakes, the sprint race on the card. The ex-New Zealander, now at John O'Shea, We Will Rock, who led at a fairly strong tempo before being run down late at his first Australian start. He was collared there by Devil's Throat, and Robusto was back in third. Well, Devil's Throat went on to win again last Saturday. Robusto out of that race has come out to win again. The form looks very strong. You know he'll be right up on the speed, and on his New Zealand form and what we saw at his only Sydney start, he's going to be my best bet of the day. We Will Rock in race 8, number 13.
And we spoke about him before, the King of the Bull. He was the top media expert in May, and we've got some early mail from Rick for Saturday.
My name is Rick McIntosh. I'm a country race caller for racing.com, and my tips can be found on the racing.com website for every meeting that I work in the Tipper Hub. Country racing is my specialty. I believe there's nothing like seeing firsthand the horses that you might likely want to back or bet on next start. There's not a lot of science to the way I do my form. I'm not big on the numbers or the data that is accessible these days. I'm more about the speed maps and the race analysis, what I've seen in the lead up, and watching lots of videos. Spend about, I allot 4 hours a meeting for the meetings I'm calling to provide those tips. My best bet for Saturday, and I've had to go outside the square here, but it is the Brisbane Carnival. Eagle Farm race 4, number 7 on an each-way basis, Al Arbor. He's in form, he's going really well. Like the horses on a week's backup going into a race like this, race 4, number 7, it's the Brizzy Cup. Mickey D for Waller, we know how that's been. It looks to be an even speed race. Every horse will get their chance, and I think he's a great bet each way. Race 4, number 7, El Arbor. I think looking through at Brisbane, obviously they said the best bet for Saturday, so I've given that one out. I think race 2, number 1, Yellow Brick's just a good thing. His grand final was the Stradbroke. He didn't get in. He goes to a supplementary race there and he just looks a top horse on the rise, doesn't he? But good luck wherever you're playing on Saturday, and good to be on your show.
And here he is, Nick Noonan, Victorian Tasmanian expert. Absolutely knocked the lights out in May, and he's going to give us some early mail. Let's hear it.
G'day punters, Nick Noonan here. Great to be on the show this week. Hopefully we continue a good recent run of form, and yeah, hopefully a big weekend. It's going to be a massive weekend of racing, so hopefully we can tip a winner for the punters on this show. My processes of going through the form usually consist of watching a lot of replays, looking at a lot of sectional data. I use the punting form database, so all across their sectionals and the recent figures the horses have run, and then probably trying to identify horses that the market could potentially miss out of that, and definitely looking at speed maps. I think speed maps are probably one of the more crucial things when you're doing the form as well. You've got to identify where horses are going to end up in the run. So they're probably the three big things from mine when doing the form. This weekend, as I said, it's going to be a terrific weekend of racing. I'm keen to play at Soundown. That's where I typically do a lot of my form in Victoria. Also have a look at Tasmania. They've got a good meeting at Sunday at Hobart. So tips will be on racing.com there if you want to tune in later in the week. But we'll head to Soundown for the best bet of the weekend. I think this horse will just be winning race 2, number 7, Extra 2. Big win first up there in a maiden. Led the field up there at a slow tempo, but she come home in the quickest closing sectionals of the meeting. So she looks like a filly with plenty of promise. Gets W Pin going aboard there, gets him to 51 kilos. So I think she'll sit up on top of the speed and could be very hard to run down. So thought she was the best bet of the weekend. Race 2, number 7 at Soundown. Good luck punters, and hopefully we can get her home.
Well, there it is, folks. That brings us to the back end of Tipster. Hey, Mick, I was listening to the radio a couple of days ago, heard you on SEN and heard you mentioning GTO tipsters. What's going on there?
Yeah, it's got a new segment there with Gareth on a Tuesday where we take the best tipsters from thegreattipoff.com and feature them in Tipster in Focus, so week to week. So if you keep putting in those tips, keep dominating proceedings like many of you are, you'll huge chance you'll get a phone call from myself, and we'll give you a call up and get you on radio, a bit of a chat about how well everyone's going. But I think last week we featured some of the media types from SEN, Cam Luke, Campbell Brown and the like, and Mark Hunter and Nick Ashwin, also obviously dominating from the greattipoff.com side as well.
Yeah, okay, great. So there's another reason, apart from the selling your tips, getting money from hot bets and participating in the $1,000 cash each month, you now can get your trumpet blown on national radio with SEN. So just another reason. Talking about blowing your trumpet, Mick, tell us what's coming with your mix moral for this weekend.
Yeah, no prices out yet, mate, but I think we're going to make this a nice little collect for the punters out there. Race 10 at Randwick, number 10, Crafty Eagle, progressive galloper here. It's got bigger targets in sight. This is a 1,400 metre benchmark, 78. From top of memory, before we went there, I did have a look, I promise. This horse is progressive and it'll be winning this. Drawn barrier 2, sits probably 5th or 6th in the run there, and we'll put them away. Once the mile, I think they'll head to the Queensland after this. It's a very, very good horse.
All right, Craft Eagle, there it is. Mick Gannon, Mick's moral, and you know that little run, or it's a bit of a long run. I think you've had 4 winners from 5 this year. Is that right? No, 3 from 4. 3 from 4. One of the, I can't remember which one it was, but earlier in the year we had a bit of a camera, live camera at an event that we're at, and this guy was following one of your mixed morals. You know this bloke at all? Because he was all over it.
Let's check it out.
Hey.
Have you go, son.
He's loving it.
Yeah, that's my PT actually, my personal trainer.
Is that right?
So basically, what happens is he trains me and I give him tips.
Yeah, there we go. So it's a bit of a trade, is it?
It's clearly going well.
Because he was saying, Mick, this better win. He was saying stuff like that. I don't think we caught it on camera.
Told the entire auditorium, up they go. Up you go, son.
You don't leave that auditorium not knowing he's backed the winner in that race.
I hope he said more than $1 each way on it.
Yeah, $2 each way. Well, there we go, Mick. That brings us to the end of the program. Of course, punters, press the little bulb here on YouTube, which will give you alerts when the show drops. The other big news is when we come to see you next time in Tipster next month, we would have launched the big upgrade of the greattipoff.com, Mick. It is going to blow punters' minds out. Slicker. There's an app coming very, very soon as well. It's got all the features you know and love. You won't have to say, oh, where's this now? It's all where it used to be. Looks better, but then some additional features.
I've had a look under the hood, mate. I can tell you it is tip-top.
It's good. So we're very excited about that. Look out for that. Best thing to do is come to the site and start putting your tips in. Without any further ado, Mick,
Mate, go well.
good luck, punters.